Hi, I'm the Scrub and you're here for one reason. Gilly, the friendly guidance node, needs a new battery from the Elegant Technology facility. What is it with people and wanting stuff from sealed off places that may or may not have a bunch of monsters crawling around inside of it?
Hey, Warrior of Light, I know you've done a great job of saving the world and all that, but would you mind getting this really small thing for me in the back area of this place that hasn't been opened in 5,000 years?
Anyway, it's up to us to give Wedge the opportunity to create one of the first versions of an AI girlfriend in Eorzea. Time to learn about the Fractal Continuum. Simplified. Turn right and interact with the Elegant Teleporter to move to the first area. Pull the two mobs in the next room and head around the structure until a door opens and more mobs appear. Watch out for the Dreadnought's conal attack called Roto Swipe. It can seriously hurt if you're standing in front of it. Kill everything. Head through the now open door and pick up everything until you get to the next closed door. Either stack on the casting mob or go slightly around the corner next to the door to drag all the casting mobs close to you within melee range. Kill everything. First boss time. Rapid Sever is a 4-hit tank buster. Atmospheric Displacement is a room-wide AoE. Double Sever will create huge conal AoEs that will cover 2/4 of the arena on opposite sides, either on his front and back or on both sides. Right after the first AoEs go off, he'll create another set of AoEs where the safe zones just were. To solve this, you'll need to stand in the safe zone of the first conal AoE, then move into where the first AoE was when it goes off. There's plenty of time to move between each safe zone. If you get hit by either conal AoE, you'll be inflicted with a 30-second Assunerable bleeding debuff. When you get the boss down below 70%, he will get a stacking damage up. Right after getting the damage up, he will perform Double Sever again. But this Double Sever will also create circular AoEs on the ground, some of them below random players. If you get hit by these AoEs, it will give you a Vuln stack. The boss will repeat mechanics until it's defeated. Interact with the Elegant Teleporter to move to the next area. Pull everything through the rooms until you get to a sweeping right corridor. A few enemies will spawn out of the green chambers as you enter it. Stop here and kill everything. The AoE cast from the Exalian and the Flawless Naga are all interruptible. Go towards the end of the corridor and turn right. Kill the 3 enemies in this room and 3 more will spawn out of the green cylinders, one of which is a Chimera. This Chimera has the usual attacks of Ram's Voice, which is the frozen point blank AoE around it, which will give you the frostbite debuff if you get hit by it, and Dragon's Voice, which is the huge donut AoE that will give you the paralysis debuff if you get hit by it. Kill everything, the door will open, and it's second boss time. 11 tons of Swipe is a medium-sized untelegraphed conal AoE with a knockback in the direction he's facing. Just move straight behind him when he raises his weapon to avoid being hit. 111 ton Swing is an untelegraphed large circular AoE around the boss with a knockback. Just move away from the boss to avoid it. Disorientating Groan is a room-wide AoE knockback followed by the Minotaur shoulder tackling every party member, which will knock the player back a little bit further. Following this, he will cast 10 ton Slash towards the party member that is furthest away. This is a giant conal attack, so you need to hurry and get to his side or prepare to take the hit. When he moves to the middle of the room, he will start casting 1111 ton Swing and create a swirling effect on the ground. This will more than likely kill everyone but the tank if you don't interrupt this cast. To interrupt it, you will need to interact with one of the biomass incubators on the outside. The boss will stop casting and tether itself to the released ad. It will then start casting Feast, which allows you to get in a bunch of extra shots on the boss while it's casting. You can quickly kill the ad if you choose to, but the cast will immediately finish and the boss will continue attacking. If the boss finishes casting, it will consume the ad and gain a resistance up for certain attacks for 40 seconds. This doesn't really matter these days, so you can ignore any resistances it may get. The boss will repeat mechanics until it's defeated. Interact with the Elegant Teleporter to move back to the starting area. Walk forward and stand on the pulsating symbol on the ground. This will drop the barrier and allow you to interact with the next Elegant Teleporter, transporting you to the next area. Pull all of the robots that are tethered to the Elegant Control Unit. Kill everything, then interact with the Elegant Control Unit. On the far left and far right of the platform are transportation pads. If you step on these pads, you'll be launched to the nearest platform. On the other platforms, you'll need to kill the enemies, but also watch out for the clockwork bits inside the electric circles. You'll need to avoid stepping in these. If you do, the bit will tether to you and bind you in place, which can be Assunered. You can still use your abilities when you're in the circle. 2 extra drones will spawn in on either side of the control unit after a short time. Kill everything and interact with the Elegant Control Unit of each of the other 2 platforms. When you have activated all 3 control units, all transportation pads will change direction to launch you into the middle arena where it's final boss time. Sanctification is a tank buster. Unholy is a room-wide AoE. Ether Chemical Explosive will give one player a bomb, indicated by this symbol in the party list, which is Assunerable. If you don't Assuner this, the marked player will periodically explode. Every fellow party member within melee range around this player will be knocked back and given an Assunerable burn debuff. A number of Clockwork Alarum will appear on one side of the arena. They will begin casting the Educator Boot sequence. These will need to be killed quickly as they start to move forward across the arena to each square. When they finish casting, they will charge the square they are currently on with an aura. If you walk over this aura, it will give you a Vuln stack for every few seconds that you are within the boundaries of this charged square. Landmines will spawn at the very middle of random squares in the arena. If you run into them, they will knock you back and give you a paralysis debuff. Seed of Rivers is just an AoE below random players. The boss will cast the Educator. This will create a zone of 1 row and 1 column of squares with the charged aura. It won't stick around for long, but it will cut off portions of the arena and reduce the safe zone for a short time. After this goes off, all aura'd squares will return to normal. From here, the boss will repeat mechanics until it's defeated. Congratulations, you have defeated the Fractal Continuum. My name is the Scrub. Thank you for watching.